Hey, everybody, welcome back. My name is April Marie, your host, and we are here with another episode of Bigger Than Basketball. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Anthony Lamb. How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I have to ask you, how's the bubble experience been thus far?
It's been different. Nothing I've ever experienced before, but I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity, and I'm happy to be playing with the Vipers now and having the chance to make this playoff push.
Yeah, it's definitely a great experience. And I feel like that's why so many eyes are in those types of settings, given that it's only the second one. The NBA had an awesome turnout, so I'm super excited that the bubble experience for you is going awesome as well. But I do have to mention, Anthony, you haven't been with the Vipers for very long, but already your presence has been so eye catching, not only on the court, but off of the court. You're somebody that coach talks about highly and primarily focuses a lot on your leadership ability and the way that you carry yourself with your teammates. So I feel like that speaks volumes about you. But again, I'll just ask you in one general question. How does it feel to be able to participate in such a historical event?
Yeah, it's something that I know looking back, I'll be able to say like, wow, I was a part of the bubble. Hopefully, the only bubble that has to ever take place for the G League. But um, it's humbling. When this all started and the whole pandemic took place, I was at school at Vermont, and it was my senior year, and it got cut short because of it. So just seeing how everything's been able to progress and life is getting closer to normal, and slowly, step by step, you can appreciate how people are taking steps to try to understand how to live life and also keep everybody safe at the same time. I think the NBA and the G League has done a great job and just trying to, I guess, take in both sides of that argument. Still want to be able to give people basketball, but also make sure that everybody's safe while they're doing it. So I'm very grateful to be able to play in the G League and play for the Vipers. Just being able to get an opportunity to get eyes on me, because without it, I would have been at home just kicking it on the couch. So I'm very happy and grateful for this chance to play.
No, that's awesome. And you're definitely somebody that I feel like deserves this opportunity, given that there are so many people who wish that they would have the opportunity to play in the bubble. But like I said, your presence has been phenomenal. So I'm super excited to continue to see your growth in your professional career. But you were drafted sixth overall in the NBA G League draft, which is a huge accomplishment for a rookie. But despite that, what is something that perhaps you wish people knew about you that off of first glance they might not know?
Um, I don't think really many people understand or know where I came from. So like in being from upstate New York and Rochester, like I was raised by my mom, and like the biggest thing about basketball for me is like I enjoy playing, I enjoy winning, and I enjoy competing. So like coming from Vermont, not a lot of people, I guess, knew me coming out of college. So I think that's why it was tougher to get an opportunity to, I guess, show people what I have. But in getting this chance, I hope that I can show people that I enjoy playing. I've learned a lot from my time at Vermont and learned how to win, learned how to be a leader, learned how to contribute in whatever way I can. And I know I can bring positive energy to whatever situation I'm going into or going through, and I know that can help and help in different ways. And it's not just going to be from how I contribute on the court, but it is going to be how I impact other people. And I'm going to continue to learn and grow and just give it my all. And that's what I would hope people would get and see when they start to work with me in the future.
No, that's very exciting. And I have to mention, because this is something that I say quite often, and that's that everybody is going through something, no matter who you are. But I do feel like there's almost like a misconception when it comes to professional players, because it's almost like fans assume like, oh, they don't have feelings, they don't have emotions. We can tell them X, Y, and Z. They're pros, they're fine. But the reality is, you all are just people like everyone else. So, how do you deal with the ups and downs of being a professional athlete?
Yeah, this is it's a learning experience for me. So this is my first year, so I can only speak from my own personal experience. But I would assume it's a lot like if I were looking at a doctor or somebody else that or a policeman or firefighter or something like that. Like you have to still carry yourself in a way that you can do your job and still do the best for your organization and the people around you, even though you're going through things at home or things can be beating you up or eating you up on the inside. And I guess it's a tribute to all the basketball players and all the people that came before me that where fans don't have to see the stuff outside the court. It's not saying that people don't go through a lot of things, but people work really hard to make sure that they're focused on what they bring to the people. And the NBA and the G League brings out a good product that people want to keep watching and keep seeing on the court. So that again doesn't mean that we don't feel things, but it's hard not being able to express yourself in a way that you can show like, okay, I'm vulnerable. I have parts where I'm either weak or I'm not feeling it right now, or I'm struggling through this. And it's something that everybody goes through. And like being honest, like it's impossible for you to think that I'm a robot and I'm not going through my own things on the sideline. So I'm glad that we can make it so we don't have to show people that, but also it is important that people understand that people aren't perfect. People go through struggles. People have issues just like everybody else. And just because somebody else's issues don't end up on the news doesn't mean that they're any better than the people going through the stuff that we are. So I think that'd be important for people to be able to take in and understand, if I could shed a little light on that.
Most definitely. And I feel like that really encompasses mental health because
Mm.
mental health is now becoming one of those topics that we are seeing more. Before it was something that people really wouldn't talk about. But as you mentioned, now there's actually players in the NBA like Paul George, Kyrie Irving, who are actually shedding a light on different forms of mental health, whether that be anxiety or dealing with depression or just going through different things throughout their careers. So, how important is advocacy on the entire topic of mental health?
Yeah, I would say that the more people feel comfortable about sharing their issues, I think the safer people will be, because when you feel like you're alone and you feel like you don't have anywhere to turn, that's when bad things happen and where people struggle and mess up. So I think being able to have more people like the stars of the NBA and the stars in whatever respective field they're in, being able to open up and talk to people, even if it's not publicly, but being able to express it to other players, whether it's on your team or on like the NBA platform, just being able to talk to other players within the organization. That I think that has weight and that has power, and that ability to be open and upfront about what you're going through. It takes courage, but it's also something that it shouldn't have to take courage. It should just be something that people do on a regular basis and people can share, because it's not something that you need to be courageous about. Everybody has their own things that they go through, but it's become a habit of people not sharing those things and making it have to be a struggle to open up and talk to people.
No, I totally agree. And I believe that there's going to be several people who are going to be watching this interview and kind of say, hey, you know what? I've kind of felt that way. Or I don't play basketball, but I have been in a situation where I wasn't all there or I didn't feel comfortable in a certain situation that I was in. Have you ever found yourself in a position like that? And if so, how did you cope with that?
Yeah, it was in college I had a lot of struggles with just really, I guess, figuring out life just growing up, but also just dealing with my own self and understanding what's going on in my own head, in my own mind. And the people in Vermont, they have a great platform, and and UVM especially, rallying around mental health and just being able to get the word out about your own issues and being able to talk was very easy up there. And we had a sports psychologist on our team. His name is Ari, but he was able to talk to me about a lot of my issues and a lot of things going on, and I was able to put words to a lot of the feelings and thoughts that I was having, which was, I think, the biggest growth that I was able to go through. Because once you're able to talk about it, understand what's going on, it makes it easier to express like, okay, this isn't just me going through this. This is something that other people can express and go through the same things. And I think even more than that, you are able to learn different techniques on how to deal and cope with those things the more you go and the more you grow up. But for me personally, it was I started have I would go up and down. I would have feelings like I would be depressed and go through a lot of things like that. But it would feel like I can't have these emotions right now going with my team. Like I can't do this right now because I'm the leader, because I'm the guy going through all these things. So it put even more weight on me and more pressure. So it felt like do I have the right to even open up or share these thoughts and feelings to people around me, or are they going to view me as weak or as like I'm not able to do my job in the right way? And that's like a fear that comes along with it, especially in any leadership position. But they did a good job of being okay. Basketball is separate from how you're feeling outside of basketball, and it sort of allowed me to still do the best I could on the team, but also work through the stuff that I was going through on the sideline, being able to open up and talk about these things and even talk to some of my teammates about it. And it's sort of like once you start sharing with somebody, you're like, oh, like I've kind of been through something else like that too. So people are able to connect and relate, and it makes it sort of becomes smoother and the conversation becomes easier as you go. But that's a lot of what I've dealt with personally, and I think I'm still growing and learning to understand myself more. But I think that's a journey that everybody has to go through, and I'm just grateful where I am right now.
And I do feel like there's power in that, in being able to actually share those emotions, bring it to life, and actually talk about it. Because I also feel like it makes you a better athlete. If you're healthy in your mind when it comes to stuff off of the court, then you can actually perfect your craft even more. Because sometimes I feel like sometimes athletes want to separate those, like you mentioned, like you didn't feel like you were allowed to feel, but it started to affect your basketball. But once you actually accepted it and realized, hey, you know what, I'm not the only one who goes through this. There is a way to handle these sorts of situations. It made you a better basketball player at the same time. So I love that. I love how they go both hand in hand. But I do have to ask you, what is the biggest misconception you feel people have about mental health?
Um, hmm. I think I think it's probably that like it can't happen to everybody or it can't be me. So like you don't realize that people struggle with stuff until you struggle with stuff yourself or somebody that you really care about struggles with something. So being able to get in front of that and be equipped with the tools that you need to help somebody, whether hopefully it never pray hope to God it never has to be you or struggling with these things, but it's it's more beneficial to prepare and understand what goes into mental health and understand what it even means to talk about mental health beforehand than it is to get in a situation where you feel helpless and vulnerable and hopeless when you're trying to either help yourself or help somebody else around you. And I think that's a big thing, a sort of preventative action versus sort of trying to repair situations that happen. And sometimes things that people struggle through are just a result of just years and years of trying to hold it in or fight it all by themselves. So we can do a little bit to take the burden off of each other and work together. So it's just day by day, just putting that work in. So it's not as hard when somebody goes through something really, really bad or struggling through something and sort of putting our arms around them instead of looking like, okay, like what's wrong with them? What's going on with them? How can we help them versus looking at them like ostracizing them and saying like, why are they acting like this? Because there's a reason, but if you don't take the time to learn and grow and understand, then it becomes hard to ever relate to somebody that's struggling.
And I like the key word you used there is learn. Education, I feel like, is key. I feel like a lot of these people aren't educated on the topic or are still unfortunately in the mindset that it is a taboo conversation. And that's why I think it's important that me and you are having this conversation now, because the reality is this is something that affects people on a daily basis, whether you play basketball or you report, it doesn't matter. So again, huge emphasis on that. Education is key. Now you are super young still. Again, this is your rookie season. You still have a long ways ahead of you. But what do you feel has been the biggest life lesson you've learned up until this point?
Um, That's a good question. I would say, not trying to rush my answer, but I would say that it's all about progress, not perfection. Trying to continue to grow and move forward, and learning from your mistakes is a big part of that journey. And like everybody would hope they would never make mistakes, but just taking it day by day, and trying your best and giving all you can out of love and out of care for the people around you makes life a lot more important than if you're just thinking about yourself or thinking about material things. It makes it easier to contribute and give when you're caring about what happens to people around you versus just really not caring at all, or using some different choice words. But I'm I'm very grateful for each day, and if you overlook any of them, then it sort of takes the joy out of the journey. So that would be my lesson I've learned so far.
Definitely. And I feel like there's beauty in mistakes. A lot
Mm.
of people are afraid of making mistakes, but I feel like those are the best lessons in life, right? You get up and you keep going. So eventually, unfortunately, your basketball career is gonna come to an end. But when people do bring up your name in conversation, what do you want to be remembered for?
On the basketball court or just in general?
Both, yeah, as a person. When they say Anthony Lamb, what do you want people to remember you for?
Well, as far as basketball, I just want to be known as somebody that wins, somebody that brings a lot of success to wherever I go, and trying to help out whatever team I am in the best way possible. And I know that roles change, and whatever organization I might not be doing the same thing I would do on a different team, but hopefully at each team I go to, I can make them better in some way, and bring some weight and some, I guess, prestige into whatever place I go to. But as a person, I just want the people that I care about to know that I love them and I appreciate the things that they do for me. And I hope that I can reciprocate that same energy to the people that I love and that are important to me in my life.
That's awesome. Well, this has been an awesome like past 15 minutes. I have to say, if I could sit here and talk to you for 45 minutes, I probably would. But I appreciate you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Like I said, I know for a fact there are going to be several people who watch this interview and really take away a lot of things that you mentioned. Um, this is something that needs to be brought to the attention of many people. I'm really grateful that you took the time once again to do this. So thank you so much, Anthony Lamb. I'm so excited. I know you guys are doing your best to get into the playoffs. I cannot wait to see how the rest of the season turns out. But I can definitely say that we are very grateful and very happy that you're part of our Vipers family.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for watching, y'all. Again, my name is April Marie, and this is Anthony Lamb with A Bigger Than Basketball.